All right, fantastic. I can see that a number of us are on the screen. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the summit. First of all, thanks for joining, everybody. We are going to try to keep this to 1 hour, but we have a jam-packed summit for you. There's so much that we're going to try to cover. So first of all, I can see so many people that I recognize in the chat. Fidel, thanks for joining. Andrew, Perianshu, Ahmed's here. Ben, welcome. So first of all, I'm thrilled to let you all know that we have a number of new faces here whom you all probably have not heard of before or seen, but you're definitely going to know about them, and you're going to benefit, I think, tremendously from the work that they've been doing. So I'm very excited to introduce them as well. But first, let me introduce, probably she doesn't need any introduction, Anya.
Hello, everyone. I just took it away. Hi, everyone. First off, yes, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Anya, and I'm a recent addition to the FreeCodeCamp team. Preliminary to make videos for you guys, but also now in charge of this channel, which is the FreeCodeCamp Talks channel. It is a new thing, and it's an exciting thing because I think previously a lot of videos sort of got not missed off, but didn't maybe fit in the FreeCodeCamp channel, which is all about tutorials. It is all about, you know, getting those harder maybe skills. And this is much more focusing on these soft skills. So, you know, what it takes to become a developer, the job hunt, a developer mindset, and just a bit more, I guess, more talking and less coding, if I was to put it in a very concise way. But it's going really well. It's very new, and this is the perfect time for me to promote it as we are here today. So yes, please do, of course, if you like it, then do give it some love, as it is really new, and we really want to expand it and really cater to what you guys are looking for. So yeah, again, in the chat, if there are any topics that you want to see covered, then do let us know as well.
Thank you, Anya. So first of all, I want to say that we have hit a big milestone lately, and you may have heard or seen my many comments about this effort that we've been doing, the 2021 Data Science Curriculum Pledge Drive. Well, I am thrilled to announce that we have hit our target. Not only have we raised $150,000 from the community, we've also gotten $150,000 matching donation from Daryl Silver, who, of course, is a serial entrepreneur in the education technology space, a founder of Thinkful and some other projects. And he's a big fan of FreeCodeCamp, and he's also going to be matching all those donations we've raised from, gosh, how many people? 2,503 people. So again, I just want to do a round of applause. I know we won't necessarily everybody be able to hear your applause, but if you want, you can clap right there in the comfort of your office or your home, wherever you all are. And yeah, this has been a long effort, but we're incredibly grateful to the community. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of updates about that. And one of the things, just a preview of what's going to happen during the summit, we are going to learn a little bit about the work that, the way that we're already using those resources that you all have gifted to the community to bring on experienced teachers and start designing the math and machine learning and computer science challenges and projects that we'll need to help teach the world these skills. So thank you again, everyone. It's a huge milestone for us, and it's by far the most we've ever raised in any sort of fundraiser. So I'm over the moon, and I hope you are too, because this is all thanks to you all and your efforts. So first, I think we can go ahead and dive in, and I have something really fun that I don't believe anybody knows about, but I think everybody's going to probably toggle on, or at least for a while, at least when they don't have, a baby sleeping in their arms. And that is Campfire Mode. And I'm thrilled to introduce, of course, Nicholas Kerrigan, who is a prolific contributor to FreeCodeCamp and now part of the FreeCodeCamp staff. And also Devin Lane, who is a San Francisco-based musician, composer, a very adept guitarist, among other things. And he goes by the name Gentle Return, if you want to look him up on Spotify or on, here on YouTube after the summit, of course. Devin, Nicholas, please take it away.
Great. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And let me get my screen share going here. All right, so we have our typical freecodecamp.org website here, where you will see our entire curriculum. The key difference here being now that we have added sound to the interface. So if you go into a section here and you collapse or expand the course list, you'll hear a sound. And then the very exciting part here is you hear sound while you type. And Devin wrote all of these guitar sounds, composed a piece of music here that we could break down into a song that would play note by note as you type. And then when you run the tests, you get a nice little sound when you pass. And then if you are not passing the tests, you also get a warning. Then if we head into your settings here, you'll see that we've added a toggle so you can turn the sound off. I don't think you'll want to. I think this is a great addition, and you'll very much enjoy the feedback you get from the sound as you complete the curriculum. We can, of course, toggle our theme, which will also play some sound for you. And then finally, and this is the big one here, is when you're ready to claim a certification. Okay, so there's that sound. So let's go submit a certification. Donation modal pops up. You get a sound on that. And then if we head down to our certification here, there we go. All right, and that is all of the sound that we have added to our curriculum so far. And Devin, do you want to talk a little bit about the process for composing those sounds?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Nick. Hey, everybody. As Quincy said, I'm a musician based in San Francisco. I'm also a developer, and I've been using FreeCodeCamp as one of the many tools to learn how to code, like lots of people here. So just wanted to start by saying thanks to the community, basically, so it's super exciting to kind of give something back. And yeah, hopefully, using a little bit of some sound, like mini video games or anything that we've played that can kind of help the learner's mindset a little bit and kind of ease the challenges of learning how to code. Because as all of us know, it can be very challenging and frustrating at times. So just a little tiny brief description. In the past, I built a project called Dear Diary with some other contributors that helped give the idea for the text-to-type thing. It was also based on another project that I've seen floating around the internet by a company called Plan 8. We had something called Jazz Keys. So I'm not the inventor of the idea of typing to text, but I thought that while typing, being able to kind of like hear some sounds while you're actually inputting ideas for coding would be really useful for users. Yeah, all of it's kind of just organic stuff on my guitar. We went through a lot of different iterations back and forth of how to make. There's a lot of technical challenges to kind of making music happen in the browser, and especially having there be music when you want it, not when you don't, and keeping things, having it be that is like literally my acoustic guitar playing, in my bedroom that I recorded, like a lot of us that are at home. Having that work that organic way versus just having it be completely a sound synthesis kind of approach. There's lots of different things we went through there. But ultimately, my hope is that you enjoy it, and we'd love to hear your feedback on it. And it's something that we hope to continue kind of whittling and tweaking with as time goes on. But yeah, thanks a bunch. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Devin and Nick. I love the sounds. I'm definitely planning on turning them on. They're going to be off by default. So you can go in and you can toggle them on, and we might even add it to the little main menu, so you don't have to go to the settings. We should be rolling those out. They may already be out on the beta. Are they out on beta? Not yet. Okay, they'll be out soon. And you can test those out. Again, a lot of time and energy has gone into picking the perfect supportive sounds. We've learned a lot about user experience over the years and delight that we want people to feel when they accomplish something. And for example, we try to make everything very consonant and very pleasant. Even when you're deleting or you get something wrong, we didn't want it to sound like it was penalizing you in some way. Just kind of one of the subtle changes we made. I don't know if anybody even noticed this, but on FreeCodeCamp, we used to have a red X whenever you couldn't pass a certain test. And we're let's just turn that to black and not have it be so, because we don't want people to feel like there's something wrong. We want them to feel like they're gradually progressing toward the next step. As Babe Ruth, this quote's going to date me. As Babe Ruth famously said, "Every strike brings me closer to my next home run." And we want you to feel that way when you're working through the FreeCodeCamp projects and through the lessons. And of course, there are going to be a lot of new lessons. There are going to be a lot of new practice projects and new certification projects. Although I want to emphasize right now, in case anybody's worried about this, everything we do with the FreeCodeCamp curriculum is idempotent in the sense that once we add a certification, it never goes away. It's always claimable as a legacy certification. You're never going to lose any of your progress, even as the curriculum continues to evolve. We will keep all the lessons that we currently have on FreeCodeCamp there. We'll just move them to a legacy section. It's still accessible to you. So don't ever worry about oh, the curriculum's changing. I should just relax and take some time off until it's live. It's always going to be changing. It's always going to be evolving as we bring in more talent. And I'm thrilled to introduce two very talented developers and teachers from the community who were, contributing to FreeCodeCamp in the past and are now helping us design the new data science curriculum expansion. And those are Ed and Kylie. First, a little bit about Kylie. She is a graduate student at MIT. She has worked on a wide range of different applications of machine learning. And she has already, you may recognize her from her Python, 12 Python projects course that she did on FreeCodeCamp's YouTube channel, a very popular course. Hi, Kylie. And then the other gentleman I want to introduce here is Ed Patowski. He is a very experienced teacher. He's been teaching math and computer science, both at the high school and collegiate level for nearly 2 decades at this point. And he is just an incredible teacher. And of course, very involved in the FreeCodeCamp community and using FreeCodeCamp with his students and things. And now, of course, helping design a lot of the mathematical education that is, the foundation of data science, essentially. So We're going to hear from both Ed and Kylie. I gave you both a very cursory introduction, but if you could both properly introduce yourselves, we can start with Kylie.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Kylie. I have contributed before, as Quincy said, with the 12 Python projects. And, I have my own channel where I do some Python tutorials and just fun, like coding technical projects. And then I guess outside of YouTube, I work on actually my research right now. I'm doing some stuff with particle physics. And then this past year, I've also worked on a self-driving race car, which has been super awesome. And I'm really excited for this data science machine learning curriculum that we're about to talk about. So Ed, I'll let you introduce yourself and some of that.
All right, thanks, Kylie. So I've been teaching various levels of math, computer science, writing some code for other side projects. And so I like this project. It brings it all together. And what we've been doing is I'll tell this as I'm sharing my screen. We've been working on some of the foundational math, and those are going to be the foundational math and other aspects, calculus, linear algebra, matrix algebra, all the math you need leading up to and including statistics to get to the point so that you have the math understanding to be able to do the stuff that Kylie's been working on. So we're using the Jupyter Notebook model, and the way I have it set up here is you have all the different topics, and then each of these topics, I actually wanted to go to the other one first, which was this one. So each of these topics, this is like one of the early ones. So it even starts with add, subtract, multiply, divide, and how to write code to do this. And then we get into, everything modulus, then using that to find factors, prime numbers, and all that, factors, square roots. So, just say, oh, I want to be able to write code to enter a number and it actually factors the square root for me. Well, then we have all the steps leading up to that. And I have some of these. So just as an example, some of the finding factors. So you see they could click here and it expands, and then each step has something brief to read. The next step of one more bit of code that they're going to learn, one more bit of math that they're going to learn, and then the example where they're going to then write their code. So by now they would know all this, how to, so we put that in, they don't have to rewrite everything every time. Prompt for input, cast it as an integer, and then go through the range, and then here they would use that modulus that they would learn right here, and use the modulus to test, oh, does this divide evenly? If so, I'm going to print it out as a factor. And then we go through after that, then, using that to then determine if a number's prime, and all these other functions that we have so that people can scroll through. And then they would get to the certification project, which includes everything up through that. And then this one, by now they would have done all these things, and you're going to write a notebook that does all of this. So really then they're also building their own resource. Like they could create this, even in the same way as having a notebook that they can go through and do all of these things, when they're done, building a portfolio as well as tools that they can use later. And then, it goes through, I just wanted to pick, like that was 1, there's 2, 3, here's just a sample in 4, where they get into some different things, including, calculating Pythagorean theorem, and see that they could just click and expand this. And this one, again, being able to prompt, gradually we have different import statements, and they're going to prompt for A, B, and C and enter a number. And if they don't know the number, they're going to put the letter A, B, or C, and then write the code to then use that input to calculate the length of the missed side. And then we take that to distance formula. And some of these in the more complicated topics, again, they would have worked through all these different imports and have been using all these by this point. But this one also, and again, plotting, they would have been doing all this. So you see where they lead up to. But this one, some of these I have it that it actually will run something. You see, it illustrates that this is Pythagorean theorem, change in X, change in Y. And then they would go through and we see the code, linking it to all the different formulas, how it all really is Pythagorean theorem, just written slightly differently. And then they would write their code, enter in points and calculate the distance. So we have all this, and then using that, getting into trig. As we were saying, we were going to do further foundational math, then calculus, statistics, and then get into some other matrix algebra, linear algebra, and more advanced math that they can use for some of the machine learning and other more complicated things that Kylie's been working on. So I'll let her talk about that. And I'll show, so she'll talk and I'll show some of the topics. So this is some of the advanced data science is the one we'll start with, right? And Kylie, you can talk a little bit more about this.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed. So for you guys who don't know, I am actually going to be working on a statistics, data science, machine learning curriculum for the FreeCodeCamp YouTube channel. And I'm really excited about this because my goal as a creator, as a teacher, and also like as a student, a lot of times I feel like I learn the theory in one place and then I have to try to apply it in another place by myself. And then these things like don't really match up. And one of my biggest goals for this video series, this curriculum that I'm creating, is to kind of align the theory and the application of a concept. So right now what I'm working on is I'm going through beginner data science statistics, and then the advanced, and then machine learning stuff, so that, and trying to break it down into more granular topics so that eventually, I can talk about them and also say, here's a relevant project for it. So actually, Ed, if you could go to the beginner data science and stats tab, I think we can start there. Yeah, right there. So as you guys can see, some of these things are fairly, I don't want to say straightforward, but they build off of Ed's foundational math very well. And they start with things like, what is qualitative versus quantitative data? What is sampling? How do you collect data well? And so on. And this beginner data science statistics curriculum will actually mirror something like the AP advanced placement statistics that some high schoolers might take. And this is by design. And this is just to really lay down a mathematical foundation so that when we go into the data science, statistics, more advanced concepts, these things will at least be, theoretically solid. So then, yeah, so here we have some more confidence intervals and hypothesis testing and so on. And then we can move to the next tab, Ed, the advanced data science. Yep. So now in the advanced data science curriculum, my goal is to kind of build on those topics I just saw, and then also start bringing in code to say, all right, this is how, certain concepts work. This is how we'll take this, hypothesis testing and then use real data and try to figure out something with that. And this will, start going into regression, which also leans a little bit into machine learning. This also, goes in classification, regression, or regularization. And at the very end, you'll see that if you scroll down a little more, yeah, we're going to go also into time series and some network analysis. So these are things that I'm hoping to cover in this curriculum. And then now for the machine learning stuff. So if we go over to the next tab, the supervised learning, supervised learning, yeah. So now this builds on top of that data science even more. And here we're going to cover different types of regression, different types of regularization, neural nets, classification trees, k-nearest neighbors, and so on. So this is all still a work in progress, and I'm not done with this spreadsheet yet. And as you saw, the unsupervised learning and the reinforcement learning too, both of those are still empty because I'm still working on them. So my goal is just to create some very solid videos that will be able to go along with some of the notebooks that you just saw Ed teaching, working on. And yeah, and hopefully I will create some good content for you guys, and you guys will all be out there to learn.
Awesome.
And then further on, then we'll have some other like videos that go along with some interactive notebooks to practice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it'll all work well together.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Ed and Kylie, for talking a little bit about that. I'm very excited about Jupyter Notebook. I think it's an incredibly powerful teaching tool, and it's just the entire Python ecosystem is super robust, and there are so many people contributing to these tools to make it easier to be able to learn Python and ultimately learn math through Python using libraries like SymPy potentially, and some other libraries we're going to be using. So the groundwork that Ed and Kylie are doing is going to be really important. And we're looking for lots of contributors. If you're watching this and you happen to be like a math teacher or computer science teacher who's active in the FreeCodeCamp community, definitely consider contributing to the curriculum. We've written an entire guide for how you can kind of to give you an idea of what's coming and what we'd like to accomplish with it. And we have links to these spreadsheets that we were showing earlier in there as well. So you can kind of see what our general goal is for the data science curriculum expansion. And I say data science curriculum expansion because, again, this is going to be something that builds on top of the existing certification. So we still believe that it's wisest to learn web development first, and start with front end, then move to back end, and then move to scientific computing with Python, and continue to expand your skills from there. So yeah, very exciting. The fact that you all have donated to help fund the development of this curriculum, that's going to be huge, and that's going to help us bring on some more teachers of the same caliber, hopefully, as Ed and Kylie, and really ramp up development on this, because it's an incredible amount of work. We're building probably 12 new certifications. So by the time we're done, the curriculum will be about 120%, 130% bigger than it is currently. This is massive, and it's going to be a massive undertaking. But we really do believe that, like, even if you get a job as a developer, like front-end developer, full-stack developer, you're going to be able to continue to come back to FreeCodeCamp and expand your skills for years and years to come using these resources that we're publishing. There's no limit to what you can learn, to what you can accomplish. In the future, hopefully, you won't need to go get a PhD in statistics to be able to work doing data science. You won't necessarily need to learn these things in a super formal capacity. You'll be able to take like an undergraduate degree or just a whole bunch of experience working as a developer and use that as your baseline, as the basis upon which you pile on additional skills, and you can become, you can make tremendous amount of money as a software, as a machine learning engineer, or as like a data scientist. And you can also use that as the basis for creating like, a startup, or doing all kinds of things. Like it really does unlock a tremendous range of job opportunities. You could use the insights you glean to write, a best-selling book. You could literally go and do all kinds of research using these methodologies that you're going to learn. But some of the research that we're very excited about, of course, is understanding what you all want to do and what your goals are and how you're going about learning. And for that, I'm thrilled to announce that we, in 2016, 2017, 2018, we did what was called the New Coder Survey. And we had this massive open data set that we published to the entire community. And now we're going to do another one. We're going to do a 2021 New Coder Survey. And I have the announcement that we just made. We just published this a few minutes ago, if you want to take a look at that. But the important thing I want to do right now is introduce you to this, the scientist, this sociologist who helped design all of this with me, and has a tremendous amount of insight into both people who are learning to code and into sociological research. So for that, I'd like to introduce you to PhD candidate at Boston University, Dilan Iran. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Quincy. Hi, everyone. So this is actually wonderful to be there. And I am really happy to be part of this amazing community. I've been studying sociology for years. I am a social scientist, so I am completely new to all coding things. I am learning though, but as I learn how to code, I was super excited to see actually and to learn more about this huge and growing community. So I am really glad the opportunity to actually create another survey this year and learn more about it. So I am happy and looking forward to actually see our newest results. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for your contributions, Dilan. This would not be happening without Dilan approaching me back in March. We've been doing so many things. I was in the middle of the data science pledge drive and trying to go out and find, teachers. A big part of what I do, by the way, is like talk to people and try to figure out who can we potentially bring onto the FreeCodeCamp team, who's like a good use of our very scarce donor funds, who can help kind of accelerate development of the curriculum and other learning resources. And Dilan reached out. She's like, "Oh, we really should do another one." She was very encouraging, and she had a lot of ideas that she could incorporate into them. So take a look at that article that I just shared in the chat. It'll be if you're watching this after the event's over, it'll be in the description. But, that's Dilan's article talking a little bit about the survey. And of course, it links to the survey itself. And Dilan is also going to be doing some more, I guess, qualitative research where she actually talks to different people who are learning to code. And of course, everything I believe is, anonymous. We don't collect personal identifying information. Our goal is not to this is not like a survey that's like lead gen for like some, university or something like that. Like the goal really is to just understand who's out there. And then we're going to publish all this just like we have in years past. We've got 3 different data sets on Kaggle and also on GitHub with just like the results, like the literal full data set. And people have done all kinds of interesting analyses on these data sets. So this will be kind of, the FreeCodeCamp community's gift to sociologists who want to understand skill development in 2021 and what people are learning, why they're learning it, how they're learning it, all that stuff. So very excited about that. So thank you again, Dilan, for encouraging us to do this again and for all the time and energy you put into designing the survey. So yeah, we hope you'll take the survey. Again, there's no personal identifying information. All the questions are optional. Just make sure when you do it to scroll all the way to the bottom and click submit at the end, even if you get in a hurry and you have to leave. Otherwise, the data won't be collected without the submission. So, and next, keeping these amazing, exciting, defining changes coming. We have been working for about a year on a replacement for Facebook groups and meetup.com and these other kind of like platforms that we've been using to organize FreeCodeCamp events on. And at one point before the pandemic, we had about 2,000 different study groups around the world, and they were mostly coordinating through Facebook groups. We wanted to have a tool that was self-hosted that we had full control over that we could use to organize these events. And there's an entire huge self-hosted movement where nonprofits and other organizations are trying to reclaim their data from Facebook and these other platforms and try to just have it on their own servers. And you may notice like FreeCodeCamp, we use chat.freecodecamp.org. That's our chat server. And that is self-hosted. That's using Rocket Chat, which is an open source project from a Brazilian startup. And we also, same thing with Discourse, the forum tools we use, that's all self-hosted. And as a result, we have full control over the data. We're not sharing it with some big, Facebook that's going to get breached or have Cambridge Analytica type scandals going on or anything like that. Like we're trying to have full control over that, so we can, because we're very careful with data, and we're not selling we have no commercial interest in selling the data or anything. So it makes sense for us to just keep the data to ourselves. And it makes sense for a lot of nonprofits to do that, which is why we've been working on this tool, so that multi-chapter organizations, the YMCA, Girls and Boys Club of America, any sort of organization that had a little league, a soccer club, any organization that has lots of chapters, it can make sense for them to use something like what we're calling Chapter to organize those groups. And we have a video demo of Chapter. I would love to introduce Oliver from Brussels, who's been helping oversee development of Chapter. He just got his second COVID vaccine, so he's watching this from home as he recovers. If you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, the second one is often a little bit harder, and I had to sleep for 15 hours after I got it, just before I was back to full energy. So Oliver, if you're watching this, I hope your recovery is going well. I hope you're enjoying it. And we're gonna roll Oliver's 4.5-5 minute demo showing how Chapter works and some of the functionality. Tom, do you want to go ahead and fire this away?
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to give you a quick demo of Chapter. So first off, what is Chapter? Chapter is an open source tool for organising online and in-person events. This is a contributor-driven project that FreeCodeCamp is involved with. One of the things we're most excited about from a FreeCodeCamp perspective is the integration of Chapter with the curriculum. The idea being that while you're trying to get to grips with, say, CSS, JavaScript or React, you'll be able to find people and organise to meet, discuss the material and help each other out. So that's enough about what we're planning. Let me show you what we have so far. So the first time you arrive at the landing page, before logging in, you can see upcoming events on the left and chapters on the right. And these chapters are local branches of the organisation. Okay, so let's click on an event and see what we see. So what we have here is a beautiful image. So we have an event we can RSVP to. These people are already going and we would like to. So let's click this. So clearly we're not logged in yet and we don't have any, well, first time we arrive we won't have an account. So let's create one. As you can see, I've done this before, that he clicked the button, nothing happens visibly, but behind the scenes you've registered your account. So now let's log in. So we've got an email. So with this email, we click here. It's being picked up locally by Mailhog. All we need to do is click to log in. As you can see, I'm now logged in up there. And we can also see, when we go back to the original tab, that we're still in the process of RSVPing. So let's click confirm. There we are. We've appeared at the bottom. And at the same time, we've got a new email. So let's look at that. So the new email is here. So we have one email, again from the Chapter email address to our address, that's inviting us to this event. So as you can see, we can click to add this to our Google Calendar. So this just creates an event for us, which we can save it to our calendar if we so wish. This is a kind of a placeholder because we're intending to use iCal files to send those to users, which will let them update their calendar in a more straightforward way. But for now, this is what we have. Okay, so we had one more email, and that was just here. So this email is being sent to the organizer of the event, telling them that there is a new RSVP, namely me. So they now know that I have signed up for this event. Okay, so let's go back and see. So we can see more things. So if we go and have a look at a particular chapter, we can see the events associated with that chapter. And obviously this one has none. So let's try another one. And in this one, we can see that there are 3 events. So these are the events which, if you're only interested in this particular chapter, you'll be able to see the events that are available, hosted by them. Okay, so now let's log out of this new account and log back in as the administrator. Again, same process, click, and in we are. We're logged in. So, currently to go to the dashboard, you simply type dashboard at the top, like so, and that gives you access to all the chapters that are in your organization, all the events that are currently prepared, and all the places those events can be held. So let's go quickly through adding a new event. So shiny new event, description, whatever, doesn't matter. And we add various things to describe our event. Pre-filled because I've clearly done this before. And we add the event. So 2 things have happened. It's taken us to the dashboard for that event, which we can now do what we want with it. We can delete it if we wish. We can see the details. And also, we got an email. So that email, what do we get? So here we have this new email. So this email has been sent to us and to these various members who are users who are interested in our chapter. So I should explain that we will make sure that the emails, you only receive the emails that you want. So you can subscribe to particular chapters and choose exactly what kind of, so when you get notified by email. Okay, so in this email, we can see that the event details are here and the chapter details are here. So we can just click this link, go to the new event, which currently has no one else going to. Or we can go back to going to see more from that chapter. And there's our shiny new event in the list. So that, in a nutshell, is what chapter can do.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that demo. And I just want to note that Oliver is one of many people who has contributed to this over the past year. I also want to note that, Jim, Fran, Jonathan, Patrick, so many people who have contributed to this. Those are just some names that come off the top of my head. But this is something that has the potential to save organizations. I mean, if they're using meetup.com or Eventbrite, like potentially, tens of thousands of dollars a year for a nonprofit. That's about how much we would be paying if we were paying for like Meetup for each of our individual groups. So, and this will be free, self-hosted. All you need to do is spin up an Ubuntu server somewhere, pay like $20 a month and host it on there, and maybe pay some email fees if your server's sending a lot of emails. But it should be pretty inexpensive, and an organization that has even a single developer on hand who knows basic web development should be able to deploy it. So we think this will be a big windfall, not just for the FreeCodeCamp community, where we're going to start using this as soon as possible. As like here in the United States, we're very fortunate in that like the pandemic is largely subsided. Most people are vaccinated now, and we're to the point where we can start to have in-person study group events. So, we're all hoping that, these vaccines become available everywhere and that everybody else is able to return to normal soon. We're just trying to get ahead of that big rush to come out and hang out with people again in real life, in person, right? I don't know if I should say in real life, because what happens online is real life too, right? But yeah, we're super excited about it. And thank you again to Oliver and everybody else who has been contributing to this chapter project. And now I'd like to hand it over to Anya to talk a little bit about the Talks channel that you're watching right now and some of the other things she's excited about. Take it over. Take it away, Anya.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. So as a reminder, this is what you're watching this video on now. It's not on the main FreeCodeCamp's channel. It is on the Talks channel. And this is really, I really do consider this like my little baby that I want to grow. So all your love will be very appreciated. I'm currently focusing on 4 strategies for growing this channel, which is why I really can't stress how important it is for you guys to reach out to me and really do let me know what you want to see, because this is for you. I've had some talks about, what do we have recently? Tech Rally, if you're here, I saw you here earlier. Shout out to Tech Rally for letting me use one of his videos where he interviews Susie Choi on the job hunt in tech, which is really insightful. So there's a lot of job hunt sort of videos. And then also want to focus on, talks about technology themselves. And then move on to stuff like mindfulness and coding. So, feeling good. I know coding is great. Don't get me wrong. I spent many hours in front of my laptop, probably too many hours in front of my laptop. So it's about getting that work-life balance too. That is something that I personally feel very strongly about based on my own experience, especially when learning, and something that I really want to explore more on this channel. What do we think, everyone? Is that a good topic? And of course, I guess just ask you once again to sub to this channel, just so I know that this is something you want and it is something that we should be pursuing further. In addition to giving this channel some love, I am also working on 2 other videos, which I'm really excited about. I'm not sure if I can say anything about them yet, Quincy, or should we keep it a secret? Maybe let's keep it.
You can say. Let's build up some hype.
Woo, okay. Well, I am working on 2 videos I'm really excited about. One is about low code, which is not no code. Low code and no code are very different. And this video should explain why, as well as show you how to build some really cool financial apps. So I'm going to be utilizing my own experience from working as a derivatives broker in the city. I started in Singapore and then moved to London working as a broker. I don't know if many of you know that. That was in a past life now. I feel like I've left that life behind, but there's very many remains of it in my brain still. So it was nice to utilize that to build a trading sort of dashboard, also a crypto dashboard, just because I know a lot of you want to see sort of crypto content, and I use a really cool API for that, as well as a Twilio API, and then an invoice tracker. So really excited about that one. I think a lot of you really enjoy it, especially if you're into working with APIs. This is very much about that and the low code solution. And then the second video is a no SQL video. So this is going to be really jam-packed. I'm working on it, and already I'm like really focusing on making it, really sort of like content full, as in every minute is going to be worth it, if that makes sense. I haven't explained that very well. Just very action-packed, every minute will count sort of video. Yeah, it's going to be my biggest one yet, I feel. So yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happening on the FreeCodeCamp channel, and then also on this new channel too, from me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Anya. Yeah. 7 years as a commodities broker.
Commodities, yeah. Commodity derivatives. So,
okay, so
it's like a financial instrument for commodity. Like it's, financial instrument for commodity trading.
Yeah, sounds challenging. So yeah, that is something that I also recently learned about Anya. She's had a very exciting life. I think, probably several people on this call have like lived in lots of different countries and done various careers leading up to working as software engineers and teachers. So I do see some questions from the audience. First, I see a question from Luke Siciliano. I want to recognize Luke particularly because this week he gave a donation to FreeCodeCamp that really helped us push us over our goal with the pledge drive. So thank you for your very kind donation, Luke. And Luke, of course, has created some courses on FreeCodeCamp's channel. If you search like freelance course, for example, he's created some courses around business law and like compliance, like with I'm trying to remember all the different things, but he's kind of like a small business wonderkin, if that makes sense. So thank you again, Luke. And he's asking, what are other areas that FCC students ask for that we could add to FreeCodeCamp? So this is a good question. Before I throw it out to the panel, I'll just say that like we try to keep the core curriculum as focused as possible with this goal of getting people ramped up toward being able to get a job as quickly as possible. There's tons of stuff we'd love to teach people. We'd love to teach people how to like go and work with like, you know, C code, for example, and learn how to pointers and things like that work. Because I think those are important. We'd love to teach a lot more math. I think those are great things that we can teach through supplemental courses on YouTube and through the FreeCodeCamp publication, which now has more than 7,000 tutorials. The YouTube channel has 600 plus courses now. So I encourage people to make use of the extracurricular resources, even if we're not able to teach them in the core curriculum. But to answer, does anybody want to jump in and answer Luke's question about other resources that people seem to ask for a lot that we could potentially add? Are there any big topics that you all think we should cover that you hope to cover with future courses? All right, well, I will say game development comes up a lot. We have some awesome game development courses on the YouTube channel. Also, a lot of people ask about blockchain development. We have, if you actually Google Solidity, like on the top of the results, basically, you'll see like a full-length course we did on Solidity, which is the Ethereum programming language. So when people talk about blockchain development, usually they're talking about Ethereum, because that is kind of designed, it's a cryptocurrency designed to be programmed on top of with smart contracts and everything. Some other questions. Did anybody else see any questions from the chat that they want to jump in and try to answer?
Just having a look now, really scrolling for some good ones. And of course, if anyone has any great questions, please do post so we can pick it up.
Yeah, so Tomer is actually saying like, hey, Anya, maybe you could consider creating some content for creating trading bots, arbitrage, options, features, things like that.
Well, do you know what? I wanted to do this as part of my courses because you totally can. I mean, a while back, I started looking at open banking, and a lot of banks here, especially, you know, the newer ones like Revolut and Monzo and all those, they allow you access to your own bank account. So I've built like a private project where I access my own bank account and I can make payments with it. And there are some APIs that will allow you, so you can build your own personal app, like just super simple, and not only retrieve the data from these APIs. The one that I'm looking at is actually called Coin API, and I'm pretty sure that you can put on trades from it. So you can, you know, make a post request from your personal projects and actually put on a trade from your personal project, which I was like, this is so cool. I really want to do this in a future project. I did think that maybe, you know, for the projects I'm doing now, retrieving the data is good enough. But I think if people want to see that stuff, I'm more than happy to do it. I have done it with a banking app. And I think doing it, you know, for a live trading platform would be quite cool too. It does make me a bit nervous. Just putting on any trades. I'll be working with like very small amounts of money just in case I get anything wrong. But I think that's a good idea. More towards the crypto though, I think, rather than, you know, like actual, like the actual financial exchanges, just because I think they're a lot easier to work with as well. I've never actually looked into, I don't think it will be as easy just from my personal experience to start trading on, you know, the ICE, which is something that we used when I was a broker in the oil markets. So yeah, but really good idea. I'm really into it.
Awesome. We have a few more questions. We're going to go just slightly over the hour since there are some good questions in here, if that's cool with you all. First of all, we've got a question from Ariel Leslie, who is a prolific FreeCodeCamp contributor and moderator on the forum. And she asks, how will the curriculum integrate with the core curriculum? I think she's talking about the new data science curriculum expansion. Is it all expected to be a linear progression after the current courses, or will we set it up to work well with concurrent studies or 4 concurrent studies. I can kind of answer this a little bit, but Ed, Kylie, if you want to jump in. First of all, it is going to be linear. FreeCodeCamp, like one of the core features of FreeCodeCamp's curriculum that distinguishes us from like Codecademy, for example, where you can go just jump into any topic and learn kind of a la carte, omakase style. We want to instead just have like a very clear progression, like so that you don't get to like you don't get like an hour into a course and realize, oh, I need to know like, you know, differential calculus to be able to make it any further. So I basically just wasted an hour doing this course that I'm not going to be able to do any further, right? Like now I have to go. So because we can kind of map out the dependency chain, so to speak, of skills, we can have a single linear curriculum. And this harkens back. This is something you'll hear me talk about a lot, like medical school, law school. Everybody learns the same things, right? Like it's not, you specialize kind of on the job and through residency or through like apprenticeships or associateships, I think is what they're called in law. And, but it's just generally understood that there's a giant corpus of knowledge that every lawyer should know or every doctor should know. And it used to be like this with liberal arts degrees. Everybody used to learn basically the same thing and then they'd specialize after they got out. And I think FreeCodeCamp still has a lot of the DNA from those early programs in it, because we really do think that all software engineers should have exposure to mathematics, should understand, you know, machine learning, but should also understand how relational databases work, things like that. So our intention is to keep the core curriculum completely linear, and then to have a ton of extracurricular stuff you can do through the publication and potentially through like some of the YouTube courses. So Ed and Kylie are working on the data science curriculum expansion, and a big chunk of that is going to be the linear series of Jupyter notebooks, but there's also going to be a whole lot of videos that you can watch, you know, as you wish on the YouTube channel that Kylie has designed, that are going to like tie into what Ed has been doing, and a bunch of supplemental projects you can do as well. Is that?
I was thinking the one thing that would be a good almost prerequisite would be some knowledge of Python. Yeah, but that's it. Some knowledge of Python. I think that's going to help, even though you're going to learn some of it, but it's going to be much better if that was familiar too.
So I was also just going to mention that, you know, a lot of the Jupyter notebooks that Ed was showing earlier, a lot of those things, you know, would kind of build up your repertoire of basic math, and also at the same time coding. So I know that a lot of the ones that Ed had shown me were, this is how you do a certain thing, now edit some lines in order to do something else. And that's really useful to get to know these like data science libraries such as pandas, numpy, matplotlib, whatever. And I think for the courses that I'm trying to do, it's kind of going to be a mix of tutorials and also Ed's like project style notebooks. And together, the goal is that you really should only need to know, like, I guess, basic coding in order to get started. You should know like some Python, so I don't have to explain what a variable and a function are. But if you know those things, the idea is that you'll be able to just, you know, jump right in, get to know the math topics, and then get to jumping in and applying it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, we are very excited about the data science curriculum. Again, we're still pretty early in the development of it, but Kylie and Ed are meeting every week and like progressing, and we're having, we're looking actively for additional teachers we can potentially bring on. So by the way, every single person who works at FreeCodeCamp, they are a open source contributor or contributor of like tutorials, courses first, and then they gradually, like, I will say like, hey, you're helping a whole lot. Would you like to be able to help even more? And then we're able to potentially bring them on to work part-time or even full-time with FreeCodeCamp, so they can focus on contributing. So working on the FreeCodeCamp staff is very much an extension of already being an active contributor in the community. So if anybody's ever interested in ever working at FreeCodeCamp, the most likely path to be able to do that is to become a prolific contributor within the community. And I'll tell you, even if you don't end up working for FreeCodeCamp, a lot of our contributors go on to get really good jobs at like Google and other places like that. So, it's a good use of your time, getting open source contributions under your belt, creating tutorials, helping people on the forum is probably the most immediate way you can do that. You can help people, and while further expanding your own skills and reinforcing them, the best way to learn is to turn around and teach what you just learned and cement it in your own mind. So I just want to thank everybody for making time to join. Everybody who's tuning in, of course, like all these people who've been contributing to the community. I saw so many awesome contributors in the chat today, asking questions and sharing good vibes with the community. Like this is all about like, it's easy to feel hopeless when there's just so much to learn, and the world can seem somewhat callous and indifferent to the struggle that is trying to, drink the ocean and learn like an entire giant body of knowledge necessary to be able to move into a new field. But you've got a community right here that's going to help. We're here to support you and to give you the learning resources. If you can summon the willpower to like sit down, and of course, everybody's circumstances are different. Some people have kids, some people have elderly relatives are taken care of. Some people have disabilities or other issues that can challenge them and present additional layers of complexity in making time to learn to code. But know that like, we're going to do everything we can to help you advance your skills. The jobs are out there. Right? Like coding is not going away. Math is not going away. Data science skills, those are just kind of growing in importance. All the things that we're going to be teaching are going to be pretty much immediately applicable to the job market. And this is like, we're very fortunate in the sense that this is a field where you can have a high quality of life, high level of income, a high degree of freedom, working from home or working completely asynchronously, where you don't have to like be at a certain place at a certain time. Where you can take your skills and go found a company and become very wealthy and potentially help other people work for you as a job. This is like the skill set. If you wanted to just, if you knew a single skill in 2021 that could make it to where you could be extremely powerful and impactful in the world around you, it's probably JavaScript and Python. And some of the other tools that FreeCodeCamp teaches. So, I want a huge shout out to everybody who joined. Be sure to subscribe to the Talks channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you, Anya, for leading this awesome channel. Thank you, Kylie and Ed, for all your work. Thank you, Nick, and of course, Gentle Return on Spotify. Check it out. Devin has some awesome videos, like his kind of Tiny Desk concert videos, if you want to check out some of his playing and his singing and his songwriting skills. And thank you again, Dylan, for pushing us to do the new coder survey this year. It just went live about an hour ago. Check it out, go through it. It takes about 10 minutes. It'll be a big help for the community, help us understand where you're coming from, what you're doing. Thanks again to Anya for letting us jump on her channel, the Talks channel, and do this stream. So we're going to make this available afterward. If you missed some of it, don't worry. You'll be able to like watch it on double speed if you're in a hurry. Scrub through it. If you're a non-native English speaker, we might be able to add some captions. I'm not sure. We're going to try to do that. But I just want to thank you all for being a part of the FreeCodeCamp community. And I hope you all have a fun, productive day. For those of you in the United States, I hope you have a great Independence Day weekend. And cheers, everybody. Happy coding.
All right, Quincy, thanks for all you're doing to put all this together.
Thanks, everyone.
Here's everyone.
Thanks. Yep. Cheers.
Yeah.